I had been overseas on business negotiations for a month and ended up wrapping things up a week early. By the time I got home, it was already late. The house was quiet, dark, and still. It looked like my girlfriend Seiya had already gone to bed. I didn't want to wake her, so I slipped in, took a quick shower, and tiptoed to the bedroom without turning on the lights. I slid under the covers. The warmth beside me was overwhelming.
Yes.
After a month away and a few drinks that night, I couldn't hold back the longing. What happened next was intense, emotional, almost desperate. Something felt a little different. I admit her touch. Even her voice, but I chalked it up to the alcohol and the longing. Eventually, I passed out, exhausted. In the morning, I woke up to a soft voice calling me for breakfast. Wasn't Seiya. Was her best friend Luli. She stood there blushing, looking nervous and unsure. I was stunned, completely caught off guard. I wasn't even wearing anything under the sheets, so I awkwardly asked her to step out while I got dressed. Her face turned beet red, and she hurried out. That's when I saw the stain on the sheets. The memory of last night suddenly felt a lot sharper. Her skin had felt different, softer, more delicate. My mind raced back to something Seiya had once said, laughing with disbelief. Luli is so ridiculously conservative, who even waits for marriage anymore? Back then, I didn't think much of it. But now, could it have been Luli last night? My stomach twisted. I cleaned up and went to the living room, trying to sound casual. Hey Luli, where's Seiya? She froze. Panic flickered in her eyes before. She looked away and mumbled. She left early for a meeting at the company, urgent stuff. Then quickly added, I slept in the guest room last night. Something about her tone, the way she avoided eye contact, didn't sit right, but I didn't push her further. At the office, Seiya wasn't there yet. My gut told me something was off, but I had a packed schedule. I called an emergency meeting to prep for two huge deals, the overseas acquisition and the Bayong UN project. It's both just 3 days away from final signing. Everything needed to be flawless. Right in the middle of the meeting, Seiya walked in with her ex. Lee, she strutted straight to the front, holding his hand like it was nothing. The entire room fell silent. She cleared her throat and announced, Everyone, this is Lee. He's the new vice president of the company. From today on, he'll be managing all operations. The room went into shock. I was the current VP. Without me, Goo Corporation would have gone under years ago. I stood up, my voice sharp. Seiya, what the hell's going on? She turned to me coldly. What do you think? The company's evolving, and we need someone more capable. Lee studied abroad. He's a better fit than you. I almost laughed. Lee, the same guy who, back when the company was failing, embezzled funds and disappeared under the excuse of studying abroad. That betrayal nearly sunk the entire company. Seiya was devastated back then. It was me who found her drunk and vulnerable in a seedy bar. I took her home, invested my own money into saving Goo, and helped it rise from the ashes. I rejected the marriage my family arranged just so I could be with her. For 3 years, I poured my blood, sweat, and soul into the company and into her. And now this. He smirked and said smugly, Thanks for looking after the company while I was gone, but it's my turn now. Should move on. Rage surged through me. I punched him hard. He flew back, and the room exploded into chaos. Guards and colleagues rushed in to separate us. Seiya threw herself in front of him, shielding him like I was the enemy. Seiya Hong, you've gone too far, she yelled. I wiped blood from my lip and stared at her. Me? Gone too far? Search your conscience. Who was there when you were left to rot? Who rebuilt this company from the ground up? Who loved you when you were at your lowest? She looked away, her voice bitter. So what? Did I ask for your help? Chose to do? Her words cut deeper than any betrayal. I stood there, hollowed out. Everyone in the room looked at me, some with sympathy, others with shock, but no one spoke. Seiya was the chairwoman. She had the final word. She squared her shoulders and said coldly, This is settled. In 3 days, Lee will sign both major contracts. You're no longer needed, Xiao Hong. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. I had given everything for her, for this company, and this was how it ended. Lee's assistant. Clear out your office immediately. With that, Seiya turned and walked away without sparing me a second glance. She hadn't come to discuss anything, just to announce her decision. Lee strutted over, nose in the air, full of smugness. So what if you poured your heart and soul into this company and into Seiya for the past 3 years? He gloated. And it was all just paving the way for me. Be a good little assistant. Behave. And maybe I'll let you stay. Otherwise, there won't be a place for you in the entire Goo Corporation. I watched him walk away arrogantly and couldn't help but laugh. Bitterly, Guaya, you stumble once and still haven't learned. If you're set on digging your own grave, then let's see who comes to pull you out this time. I built Goo Corporation from the ground up, and I could tear it down just as easily. By the time I walked out of the meeting room, Lee was already orchestrating a group of people clearing out my office. My belongings were being dumped carelessly onto the floor, mementos of countless sleepless nights, sacrifices, and victories. Each item was a chapter of a journey I had once believed in. Lee stood nearby, arms crossed, a triumphant sneer on his face as he barked orders like he already owned the place. I met his eyes with calm indifference. The fire that once burned there had gone cold, replaced by something far more dangerous. 3 days, I said coolly. That's all I need to show. You both who really controls the fate of Goo Corporation? I was assigned a desk among the junior staff. Now my new seat was right next to Luli. Seeing Lee bask in his self-satisfaction, Luli puffed out her cheeks in frustration. Seiya Hong. They actually gave the vice president position to him. At least say the company's doomed. I said nothing. My face unreadable. If it's doomed, so be it, I replied. I saved Gusa once. I won't save her again. Luli looked stunned. Xiao, can you really let her go? Used to hate seeing her hurt? I looked out the window at the tide of traffic below, a wave of sadness washing over me. That was then, I said quietly. Not anymore. Today I realized Gusaya never truly loved me. The one she really wanted was always Lee. Then I turned to Luli. I'm sorry, I said. She blinked, then tears spilled from her eyes. 3 years ago, our parents tried to arrange a marriage between Luli and me. We had grown up together, childhood sweethearts. She followed me everywhere until her family moved abroad after high school. Even though Luli was more beautiful and came from a better family than Gusaya, I was hopelessly infatuated with Seiya. Back then, I rejected the arrangement. I broke Luli's heart. I later heard that she had fallen seriously ill after the rejection. She eventually joined Goo Corporation and even became close friends with Gusaya. I always knew she did it for me, humbling herself to work as a junior employee despite her background. Gusaya never knew our history. For years, I kept my distance. Then Lee sent me a photo. It was of him and Gusaya in bed. My fists clenched. Rage surged. Then another message from him. See how gentle she was last night? Words can't describe it. My mind went blank. Gusa was with Lee last night, then who was with me? I showed the photo to Luli. She flushed crimson, eyes dropping. After a long silence, she whispered, Last night I was supposed to be staying over with Gusa, but Lee called her away. My heart skipped a beat. So the one with me last night was you? She nodded. Without thinking, I grabbed Luli's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was a jerk before, but this time I won't let you down again. Her tears flowed again. I sent a message back to Lee. You can keep the trash I threw out. That evening, Gusaya hosted a lavish welcome party for Lee. Opportunists swarmed. Sucking up to the new VP, Gusaya and Lee clinked glasses, arms linked. His hand rested possessively on her waist. Then Lee locked eyes with me, grinning wickedly, before dipping Gusaya in his arms and kissing her passionately. The room erupted in applause. Gusaya, don't you think you're going too far? Someone snapped. Shohong is still here? The room fell silent. All eyes turned to me. But I only looked mildly puzzled. Why is everyone staring at me? I asked. Calmly. Please continue. A flicker of surprise crossed Gusaya's face. She clearly expected me to rage. But when you've truly let someone go, you stop caring. She wrapped her arms around Lee's neck and kissed him again. I turned, pulled Luli into my arms, and kissed her hard. Gasps filled the room. Everyone knew Luli was Goose's best friend. No one had ever seen me close to her like this. More shocking, Luli didn't resist, her arms wrapped around my neck. Boom, a table flipped over. I pulled Luli away just in time. Others weren't so lucky, splattered with wine and food. It was Goosa, her face twisted in fury as she glared at us. I held Luli tighter, relishing the revenge that surged inside me. "Goosa," I said coldly, "what do you think you're doing?" My voice cut like ice. "If you can be lovey-dovey with Lee, then why can't I get close to Luli?" Her chest rose and fell rapidly, fury written all over her face. She jabbed a trembling finger at me, voice sharp with rage. "Fine. My boyfriend and my best friend. How dare you to betray me like this?" she spat. "You two are disgusting. Have you been sneaking around behind my back this whole time?" I let out a cold laugh. "Us betray you? You were the one who turned cold first, and now you have the nerve to question me?" Lee tried to step in and calm things down, but Goosa violently shook off his hand. "Some best friend you are," she snapped at Luli, venom in her voice. Luli bit her lower lip, but stood tall, meeting Goose's glare with quiet strength. "Gia, you've crossed the line. You don't even realize how much Zhao Hong has sacrificed for you." Tension was electric. Our coworkers started whispering. Among themselves, shocked by the public fallout, the party descended into chaos. But deep down, I knew this was just the beginning. I was done. Without another word, I took Luli's hand and turned to leave. "If you walk out that door, don't even think about coming back," Guo screamed. "You're both fired." We didn't flinch. We left without looking back. Guo Corporation, that small time company, was nothing compared to the Jia and Lu family empires. Guo had no idea most of our assets were overseas. What she saw was just the surface. She'd regret it. 3 days later, at the big signing ceremony for Guo Corporation's letter of intent, Zay strutted in, soaking up the spotlight like a peacock. But it didn't last. The moment the Northern Garden and overseas representatives saw that the host had been changed without notice, they immediately pulled the plug. No amount of smooth talking from Guo or Z helped. The foreign reps kept their faces cold, full of disappointment and distrust. Rep slammed the contract folder on the table, making everyone jump. "We agreed to deal with Mr. Shao. Integrity is key in business. A last-minute switch like this makes us question your reliability." The overseas rep followed up, speaking fluently through a scrambling translator. "Our main reason for collaboration was your company's stability. This abrupt change casts serious doubt on your leadership. We're canceling the contract." Gasps filled the room. Employees exchanged amused looks, especially those who'd suffered under Guo and Zay's arrogance. Panicked, Guo turned to Zay for help, but he looked just as lost. In desperation, she called me. I was lounging on a sunny beach with Luli in my arms when her name popped up on my phone. I didn't even hesitate. I hung up. The signing ceremony turned into a complete disaster. I wasn't surprised. Guo Corporation was never their top choice. They agreed to work with us only because of the trust I had painstakingly built over a year. Without that trust, there was nothing to sign. 2 weeks later, I returned to Juning. I had barely stepped through the door when Guo showed up, clearly exhausted. She must have had someone watching my place. "Xiaohong, you've been with Luli this whole time, haven't you?" she snapped.
"Do
You have any idea how much damage the failed garden and overseas deal caused? Why didn't you answer my calls?" I looked at her calmly, my voice cold. "You handed everything to Zay? And you fired me, remember? Why come looking for me now?" She was speechless for a moment, her expression shifting. I acted on impulse. "But you know the company's in trouble. Without you, those partners won't cooperate. We need you, Xiaohong. I need you," I laughed bitterly. "You remember me? You had no doubts when you promoted Zay over me, and now you crawl back after everything falls apart." Anger flashed in her eyes, but she forced it down. "Made a mistake. But you won't just let Guo Corporation fall apart, will you? You built it too. Come back. You can name your terms." I stared straight into her eyes, my voice steely. You fired me with one word, like everything I built meant nothing. And now you want me to clean up your mess? You think I'm that easy? That struck a nerve. She exploded. So this is about Zay? Is that why you're making such a scene? You were always away on business trips. Don't I deserve companionship too? You think I don't need someone by my side? I checked the time, fed up. Who do you think I was working so hard for then? Then, coldly, it's late. You should go. We're nothing to each other anymore. Her shoulders slumped, but she tried one last time. Can't you just ignore Luli? Everyone knows she's my best friend. This is humiliating. Just come back. The company needs you. I need you. I shook my head. With Zay still there, it's a sinking ship. This wouldn't have happened if you'd picked someone competent. Pointing to the door, I said firmly, Go. Please leave. Her face fell, but she still tried one final desperate plea. At least help with the Northern Garden project. They still haven't found anyone. The Bayong and the overseas M&A projects haven't found anyone else yet? Please, I'm begging you. Honestly, if I had negotiated terms with Guo right then, maybe even asked for some company shares, she probably would have agreed immediately. But I wasn't about to do that. Signing those contracts now would only drag the other companies down. With the sinking ship? Besides, before the ship goes under, I'm going to give it one last push myself. I know you're mad that Zay took your office, Guo continued, but once the contracts are signed, I'll get you a bigger one. And as for you and Luli, as long as you two stop seeing each other, I'll drop it. I pulled out the bed photo Z had sent me, my voice ice cold. CEO Guo, if you want companionship, Zay provides that. Besides, you yourself said Zay is better at business than I am. So why aren't you going to him? You already fired me and hooked up with your white moonlight. Who I'm with is my business. I don't need your interference. And about the office too. You really think I still care? Get out now or I'm calling the police. You bastard, you shrieked, stunned. She never expected me to be so ruthless after all these years of sucking up to her. If these contracts aren't signed, the company's already bleeding losses. You promised you'd take care of me forever. How can you just abandon me now? You poured so much into this company. How can you give up halfway? I didn't want to waste any more words. I pulled out my phone, ready to call the cops. She saw I was serious. Guo finally stormed off, face twisted with resentment. I watched her go, feeling nothing but cold indifference. I still couldn't believe I'd once been so madly in love with her. She dumped me, betrayed me for that idolized man of hers, and now she expected me to crawl back and slave away for her. Absolutely ridiculous. Not only would I refuse, I'd make sure she took a harder fall. Guo had barely been gone 30 minutes when Zay's phone started ringing off the hook. He called again and again, more than 10 times, before finally giving up. Then came a text dripping with arrogance. Xiao Hong, you've got some nerve. Don't think you can just waltz back because Guo came to see you today. Even if you do come back, as long as I'm here, you won't have a single good day at the company. I sneered at the message. What a pathetic loser, digging his own grave over a woman. I picked up my phone and called my assistant overseas. Over. The past few days, I had dug deep into Zay's activities abroad. He told Guo he was pursuing advanced studies, but the truth was far uglier. The guy was a total scumbag, swindling money, seducing women all over the world. At least a dozen wealthy women were hunting him down globally. Couldn't stay abroad any longer. That's why he was back. After I hung up, I idly played with a lighter, its metal case clicking coldly against my fingertips. Each click felt like hammering a nail into Zay's crumbling future. I was eager to see how long this arrogant fool could keep dancing on the edge. Updates started coming in quickly. My assistant was efficient. He'd already quietly contacted those rich women they had ripped off and leaked his current location in the country to them. I could almost see the fury in their eyes when they got the news, ready to tear him apart. The very next day, I began selling off my shares in Gudo Corporation. The public still didn't know the company's real situation, so the stock price was still high. Once Bayong Yuan and the overseas company finalized their new partnership and Guo Corp released its third quarter report, the price would crash. If I waited, I'd lose a fortune. Back at the office, Guo and Zay were stunned over the project contract mess when urgent knocking came. Finance Director Wang Chong burst in, panic clear on his face. CEO Guo, terrible news. Director Zhao is dumping huge amounts of company stock, causing the price to plummet. Guo waved him off. Don't overreact. Xiao Hong only holds 15%. Even if he sells it all, how much damage can he really do? Wang's face stayed grim. You rarely involve yourself in daily affairs, but over the past 3 years, Director Zhao has quietly bought shares from other shareholders. In the market, he now owns 38%. He's actually the largest shareholder. This selling spree means trouble. Guo's face paled. Xiao Hong is the largest shareholder. Then why did he give up his VP position so easily? Was he planning to destroy the company all along? Realization hit her like a punch. She had made a huge mistake underestimating me. Her eyes burned red with frustration. Buy back the shares immediately. Buy everything Xiao Hong's selling, she roared. Wang looked pale and hesitant. The CEO Guo, the company doesn't have that kind of cash flow. We've expanded rapidly and funds are tight. Bank loans are nearly due. If Director Zhao keeps dumping shares, the stock price will crash and we might not get approved for more loans. Guo stood frozen, mind blank. The room felt suffocatingly heavy. Zay hesitated. Xiao, this whole mess is my fault. If I hadn't come back, you wouldn't have left. How could I blame you? Guo's hatred boiled over. With trembling hands, she grabbed her phone and started calling me frantically, but I didn't answer a single time. Frustrated, she threw her phone against the wall, shattered with a crash, pieces scattering everywhere. Xiao Hong, you bastard. She screamed hoarsely, makeup smeared and face twisted with rage. After her outburst, Guo forced herself to calm down. Through gritted teeth, she said, "We can't just sit back and do nothing. Wang Chong, I need you to compile a list of all the company's liquidatable assets properties. Idle equipment, everything. Get it all tallied and bring it to me within the hour." "Yes, President Guo," Wang Chong replied, hurrying out of the conference room, his steps heavy with worry. Guo turned to Z, her voice softening a little. "Go contact the minor shareholders. Be honest with them about our current situation. Try to persuade them to increase their shareholdings and help stabilize the stock price. Whatever it takes, we need results." Zay nodded silently, then left the room looking defeated. Left alone, Guo sank into her chair, burying her face in her hands. Could I really have been wrong, she wondered? I never imagined the company would fall apart so quickly without Xiao Hong, but regret was useless now. She had to focus on finding a way out of this mess. Just then, her secretary knocked softly and stepped in, hesitating. "President Guo, several major suppliers have been calling. They're pressing for payments. If this drags on much longer, they say they'll have to end their partnerships." Guo's heart dropped. If the suppliers cut them off, Guo Corporation would be finished. She had no choice but to start breaking up parts of the business, selling them off in packages to raise capital just enough to keep suppliers from pulling out. It was a temporary fix at best, but the damage was already done. The stock price had been halved. After the third quarter earnings report came out revealing heavy losses, it plunged even further. It takes years for a mountain of snow to form, but an avalanche happens in an instant. Exhausted and cornered, Guo realized how easy her life had been before, when I was still at the company. She never had to worry about things like this back then. Now desperate, she found herself dialing my number again. "Hey, where are you? I really want to see you," she said when I picked up. It was Guo. I was about to hang up when Luli answered. "Instead, don't call again." "Ow!" "Brother Xiao Hong doesn't have time for you," Luli said coldly. Guo and Luli had fought badly after the last gathering. Their friendship shattered. They were basically enemies now. Luli had been spending all her time with me recently, and she'd even told her family about our relationship. Meanwhile, the Seiya and Lu families were happily preparing for our wedding. At that moment, I was deep in conversation with Luli when Guo's call came through, a real mood killer. After the call ended, Guo kept trying to reach me. Finally, I blocked her number. Later on Valentine's Day, I was walking out of the florist with a huge bouquet of roses when Guo suddenly blocked my path. She looked so worn down, her once bright, expressive eyes now dull and empty. It's Valentine's Day. Did you get these for me?" she asked. "I know you've never been able to let me go. Forgive you. Just come back to me, okay?" I shoved her away coldly. "Miss Guo, please keep some dignity." "I wouldn't want my fiancé to get the wrong idea," Guo snapped. She snatched the flowers from my hand, threw them on the ground, and started trampling on them viciously. "Fiancé, it's Luli, isn't it? Can't really be planning to marry her," she yelled. "Xiaohong, you're mine. You can only marry me?" I watched her meltdown silently. The flowers were ruined, but they weren't expensive. I could always buy another bouquet later. I ignored her. Guo stopped, looking pathetic as she tugged on my sleeve. "Come back to me," she pleaded. She begged me, her voice cracking. Wrong. I shouldn't have brought Lee back. But you slept with my best friend too, didn't you? Can't we just pretend none of this ever happened? Let's go back to how things were, okay? Her twisted logic almost made me laugh from frustration more than anything. I yanked my arm out of her grip, my face tight with disgust. "Guso, who was it that brought Lee into the company and then kicked me to the curb?" Her eyes widened as tears welled up. She looked desperate, still trying to save the sinking ship. "You're all I see, all I think about. If you come back, I promise you'll call all the shots. We can rebuild the company together, make it even bigger and stronger. How about it?" I sneered. "Your promises mean nothing to me now. I gave you my heart sincerely, and you threw it aside like a pair of worn-out shoes. What's the point of saying this now? There's no going back. Don't come near me again. You make me sick." Despite my harsh words, she wouldn't stop. "I know you're still angry, but I still have you in my heart. Can you please stop making such a scene?" Only then did I realize just how exhausting she truly was. I shoved her again, harder this time. "Enough, Guso. Let's at least try to keep some dignity. Stop bothering me." She stumbled and fell too, the ground tears streaming down her face. "Company can't make it without you. Come back, help me. I was wrong. I'm begging you," she sobbed. I looked down at her, my eyes cold and pitiless. By now, a small crowd had gathered, whispering, pointing, watching. She stayed kneeling, grabbing onto my pant leg. "I'm begging you, just this once. Think about the employees, the people who struggled with us from the beginning. Can you really bear to see them lose their jobs?" I looked at her, voice like ice. "You should have seen this coming. Everything happening today is your own fault." Without another word, I pushed through the crowd and walked away, leaving Gusto slumped on the cold pavement. Her cry slowly faded into the noise of the busy street. Just as I returned to my office, Lee burst in, his face twisted with rage. "Gusto, you bitch!" he snapped. "You snuck off to see Xiaohong again, didn't you? You're my woman now. You know shame?" She grabbed the pen holder from her desk and hurled it at him. "So what if I want to see Xiaohong? What's it to you?" he shouted back. "You call me shameless. Look at yourself. You're useless. You're dragging this company down. How many deals have you ruined? If Xiaohong were still here, none of this would be happening. You don't do anything but hang around me all day?" she shot back furiously. "You used to complain that I only focused on work and didn't spend enough time with you. Now you're always around and I'm complaining you don't work enough. How ironic," Lee sneered. "All you see now is Xiaohong. Regretting it, huh? Don't forget you were the one who kicked him out in the first place. Don't you think that's pathetic?" Guo sneered right back, never once admitting she was part of the problem. But just as their argument hit its boiling point, the secretary burst into the office, visibly panicked. "Miss Gusto, bad news," she said quickly. "There's a group of about a dozen foreign women outside with reporters. They're making a huge scene." She glanced nervously at Lee, then lowered her voice. "They're saying you seduced and scammed them. If you don't hand him over today, they're calling the police." Gusa's eyes widened in disbelief, or stare cut through the room like a razor locking onto Lee. "What the hell's going on? Explain yourself." His face turned ghost white. Sweat trickled down his forehead. His usual cocky composure was gone. It's a misunderstanding. Someone's trying to slander me, ruin the company. A misunderstanding? Gui screamed, her chest heaving. There are a dozen women and reporters at our front door, and you call it a misunderstanding. Who the hell did you piss off, especially now when the company's already on the brink? Lee tried to reply, but the noise outside got louder. The women shouted in broken Chinese. Cameras flashed like mad. Then the doors burst open. A tall, furious woman led the charge, her voice sharp with contempt. In accented Mandarin, she spat. La, you liar. You said you loved me. You tricked me into investing in your project. You took all my savings, and now you want to deny it? No way. One after another, the women hurled their accusations: seduction, lies, fraud. The reporters rushed in behind them, microphones out, recording everything. Guso felt her head spin. Everything she'd built was crumbling in front of her. In the end, she didn't abandon Lee. Instead, she gritted her teeth and took out a massive private loan to hush things up. But it was too late. The next day, the hashtag Dr. Gerp scandal was trending everywhere. The company's stock, already plunging, crashed into worthless territory. Shareholders bailed. Employees started mocking Lee openly. His pride shattered. He snapped, firing people left and right out of panic. Resignation letters piled up. The once busy office turned cold and hollow. Gu Corporation was now just an empty, bankrupt shell. And Gu saw, thanks to Lee, she was drowning in tens of millions of high-interest debt. Then one night, while Lee slept soundly, she snapped. She picked up a knife, plunged it into his heart, and turned herself in. Later, Guso came to find me. I'm sorry, she said quietly, her eyes full of regret. I truly regret everything. If I could do it all over, I would never have chosen Lee. Because of him, my company, my love, my whole life, it's ruined. She paused, then added, I know you once loved me, and I'm the one who hurt you. I'm sorry. I know you and Luli are getting married. I sincerely wish you both happiness. There was a rare honesty in her voice. After saying her piece, she turned and left. I knew deep down it might be the last time I'd ever see her. I stood there watching her walk away, lost in thought, until Luli hugged me tightly from behind. Only then did I come back to reality. Guso was sentenced to life in prison for intentional homicide. God. As for Luli and me, we got married not long. After, we had a son, a daughter. Our married life was sweet and full of warmth, and we stayed together until we grew old.